Columbia University has said bye-bye to Katrina Armstrong. She was the interim president there at Columbia University. You know, Columbia's had a lot of problems because they got that guy, Mohammed Khalil, that has been sort of a troublesome student, to put it nicely, kind of igniting all these rallies. And it got so bad that Jewish students fell under such tremendous pressure. They actually had to cancel classes at Columbia University last spring, and they had to cancel the graduation. So they got themselves a little bit of a problem. Well, the Trump administration's coming in. They're like, this is not going to happen anymore. In fact, I saw a letter to one of the universities that another congressman, our friend Burgess Owens, sent out. He went after a number of schools, and he's like, hey, you know what? This is not being tolerated. I want to make sure you're doing X, Y, and Z. He CC'd Pam Bondi. It's a problem. It's a problem. Kids don't feel safe anymore. And these liberal institutions where you're supposed to be able to have freedom of speech, there is no freedom of speech because these people have taken over, and you got to kind of wonder, how did they get in the country to begin with? How did they get a visa to come here? It's good that Katrina's stepping down. I think she probably took on more than she could handle. Donald Trump said, we're getting rid of your $400 million in federal funding. So she said, oh, wait a second. No, we'll clean up our act. And then the faculty and the students all went nuts on her, so they got to find someone else. Will that person be able to stand up to Trump? Well, I'll just tell you this. You're going to lose your $400 million if you do. Money talks, right? Anyway, Rubio is like, I can get rid of this guy. I mean, well, of course I can get rid of them. In fact, there's this 1952 law that enables me to get rid of any of them. And I'm on a spree. I've gotten rid of 300 student visas right now. And that's a minimum, at least 300 student visas, he's saying. And he's got many, many, many more on the way. So I wonder if Katrina Armstrong's departure there at Columbia University has anything to do with the pressure that's mounting, not just on the school to actually clean up its act, not just in terms of what she's feeling in terms of pressure from the faculty and the students who don't like that she's sort of bowing down to Trump because she needs the $400 million, but also the reality that a whole bunch of those kids on campus, they're all going to get kicked out. Here's Rubio.
We revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa. And once you've lost your visa, you're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country. So it's just that simple. I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid for any country in the world to welcome people into their country that are going to go to your universities as visitors. They're visitors. And say, I'm going to your universities to start a riot. I'm going to your universities to take over a library and harass people. I don't care what movement you're involved in. Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt? Now, we gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away. I encourage every country to do that, by the way, because I think it's crazy to invite students into your country that are coming onto your campus and destabilizing it. We're just not going to have it. So we'll revoke your visa, and once your visa is revoked, you're illegally in the country and you have to leave. Every country in the world has a right to decide who comes in as a visitor and who doesn't. If you invite me into your home because you say, I want to come to your house for dinner, and I go to your house and I start putting mud on your couch and spray painting your kitchen, I bet you're going to kick me out. Well, we're going to do the same thing if you come into the United States as a visitor and create a ruckus for us. We don't want it. We don't want it in our country. Go back and do it in your country. But you're not going to do it in our country.
You kind of wonder, like, what's that about? Are they deliberately sending them here? I mean, is this some kind of operation where they're trying to basically generate this hostility? He's going back and he's like, look, the law's on my side. I can do this because they're non-citizens. I can deport them because there is this 1952 Immigration Act that basically says if your political opinion is at odds, it came out of the Cold War, of course, with what our foreign policy is, then the State Department can deport you. So bye-bye. Bye-bye, Mohammed Khalil. I mean, you got the ACLU taking that one on, but I don't care. It can go all the way to the Supreme Court. You get the 1952 Immigration Act, and I don't understand. I don't understand why we want people here who are just going to cause mayhem. You're not even a citizen. Why do you get the same exact protections? What Marco is saying is absolute common sense. And for whatever reason, nobody has any common sense on the left anymore. They used to. I was watching a soundbite, it's going to be in my shorts feed over the weekend, of President Obama back when he was in office talking about the importance of efficiency in government. Oh, I'm like, really? Oh, the importance of actually streamlining government and getting rid of programs that we don't need anymore. He actually talked about buildings that were just sitting there and they were totally empty. So they wanted to divest themselves of those things. And I'm like, gosh, you sound a lot like what we're trying to do today, but you're suing? You're suing the Trump administration because they're trying to get rid of wasteful spending? I'm sorry, guys. You know what? You've lost America on that. And that is why the right's going to keep winning. And winning and winning and winning. This is why every single poll shows Americans think the country's going in the right direction because they don't want the wasteful spending and they don't want students who are coming here and they're causing all kinds of problems on campus. And they certainly don't want people that were born as men competing in women's sports. I mean, that's like a no-brainer. I mean, you look at the numbers on that, it's like 90 some odd %. And yet the left is clinging to this. And I'm like, for your own self-preservation, like, are you guys that dumb? I think they are. I really do. I mean, I don't think there's a rocket scientist in any of them, certainly not one Jasmine Crockett or AOC. Hey, we've got a big summit coming up. I'm so happy to be part of this. My friends over at JCN, Job Creators Network. I'm going to be in Savannah, Georgia for our Freedom Fighters Summit. I want to invite you to join me there. It's Savannah, May 1st and 2nd. It would be great if you could attend. I'm putting up the link here to jcn2025summit.com. It's Job Creators annual Freedom Fighters Summit. We're going to have a couple of days there where we're discussing the biggest issues facing this nation right now. We've got all kinds of conservative luminaries there. You're going to know them all. We've got, well, I keep joking because they gave me the copy to read and it says media stars like Trish Regan. So at least I'm first, right? Anyway, we've got Kellyanne Conway. Governor Youngkin's going to be there. That's great. Governor Kemp. We've got Grover Norquist. I love Grover. You know, he and I have always seen eye to eye. No new taxes, less taxes. Bill Bennett, Mike Gallagher, Sarah Carter, Kellyanne Conway, I think I said her, my friend Steve Moore, lots of great stuff. A number of people from the president's cabinet, the cabinet members are going to be joining as well as many members of Congress. So this is exciting. We're going to be discussing here in this one place in Savannah, Georgia, the biggest issues on our horizon right now as a nation. And it's not just any event. It only happens once a year. And so if you go to anything, I want you to go to this. I've been able to secure a special offer for friends of the Trish Regan show, but I only have 150 tickets. That's it. Okay, guys? So go to jcn2025summit.com. Use code Salem. You'll get 50% off your second because, you know, maybe you want to bring a friend or a spouse or anything like that. Get the tickets before they sell out. Use that code because you get the 50% off. Oh, I should also say Rob Schneider, you know, the comedian is going to be there. Also, Lee Greenwood. I like want to get up and do a duet with Lee. I really, you know, wouldn't that be fun?